interesting true fact that took place in our lives just recently. My son was watching one of his favorite cartoons, Nick and Vlad. If you've never seen Nick and Vlad, the actual YouTube channel and content, and you have children, I highly suggest you go check it out. My son really enjoys watching Nick and Vlad. But the other day, Saturday, while I wasn't here, my son was watching another episode of Nick and Vlad on, TV. We had YouTube Kids TV pulled up in the living room, and he was watching it. And the episode dealt with Nick and Vlad's mother was stuck someplace, and they were pretending to be police officers and needed to help rescue her. My son was watching this and doing what he normally does, sitting there, enjoying it, and I think my wife said he had a snack at the time, and all of a sudden he grabbed the remote, he paused it, he walked into the other room, and my son picked up an old cell phone that it was in a desk drawer that he can play with every once in a while because he likes to make his own videos. But he picked up this old cell phone and he called 911. Yes, for those who may be watching this outside of the United States, 911 is the emergency number you call for ambulance, police, and for fire. My son called it, and the only thing he said on the actual phone call was, "Mommy's stuck." And then he hung up. Immediately, because where I live, and I'm going to assume that this is the same for anywhere in the United States, they dispatched emergency services to my home. Again, I wasn't here, but initially 2 police officers came to the door and had a brief conversation with my wife and let her know that they had a 911 call from our residency and then a hang up. So my wife asked my little boy to come over to the front door and explain, and immediately before she could say anything to him or the police officers could say anything to him, he looked right at them and he said, "I called 911. Well, they knew it wasn't an emergency. They figured it was probably a child playing with the phone in the first place. But he called the emergency and then he pointed to the living room, which we have an open floor plan. So from the front door, you can see the entire living room. He pointed to the TV of Nick and Vlad, his favorite cartoon again. Cartoon. There's a YouTube channel with 2 kids, they get into their own, mix of different things. Sometimes it's colors and trucks and, there's different sketches that they do. But they're dressed as 2 little police officers with hats and badges and stuff like that. And here in real life are 2 police officers at the door. My son was beyond ecstatic that 2 real police officers were at the door, and he wanted to tell them all about the Nick and Vlad. But you have to understand at the same time, my son is on the autism spectrum and only has a limited vocabulary. He is speech delayed. He understands, and a lot of people over the course of the time that we've been doing the Taco podcast don't seem to understand unless you what they don't understand is I haven't done a good enough job expressing when I say that my son is speech delayed, it doesn't mean he doesn't understand what's going on. It doesn't mean he can't spell. It doesn't mean he can't do mathematics, science, or anything else. And it also doesn't mean that he can't do sports or anything else that is out here, for the neurotypical, and for those who are on the spectrum. Everything should be for everyone. It should be all inclusive. He just cannot verbalize what he wants to say. And Unfortunately, the two officers who came to the door on Saturday don't speak sign language. His limited vocabulary, and then he started to try to sign to them what was going on and why he did what he did. They explained to him that, politely, that 911 is not for non-emergencies, and then in the future, if something really happens, to call. But the next time something exciting happens, in his show, to go get his mother and let her know what's going on. And even now, you have to put that aside and look at the hypothetical situation here. Let's just say in the future he is to watch another episode where he feels that there is a reason why. Maybe, there is a 911 song, and there is a kid's song about, calling 911 in an emergency situation. If he was to come to my wife and try to express to her that he needs to call 911, he doesn't have the ability to express himself in a verbal manner. He could start signing it to her. And by all means, do not think for a second that either one of us are extremely proficient at sign language. We understand it. We can get the gist of it, but he is much faster at signing than we are. And I can watch it, I can understand and get the gist of exactly what he's trying to say, because sometimes he also mixes up different letters, and hell, he's 6 years old, ladies and gentlemen. But he called 911. Now we have to pay a bill for this emergency services, and he's been warned if he does it again, we'll get fined again. But they consider it abuse of the 911 system. So there's that. And this all took place Saturday, and I sat him down and I tried to explain to him as best as I could. And I never talk down to my son. I try to express things in a way that are equal to him, and what a normal 6-year-old would understand, and try to explain to him that, calling 911 is taking these people away from other real emergency calls. That it's only, 911 is only for real emergencies, in situations like that. And all he could express to me at that point, and still to today, here almost a week later, is that, from the time that I'm filming this on Friday, and you're seeing this on Saturday, is that to him, why would it be on TV about them pretending to make a 911 call and he can't? He doesn't get that disconnection, is not there yet. Reality, and make-believe are still, at the age of 6, they're intertwined. I mean, he has no, nefarious reason for calling. He really wanted, Nick and Vlad in the cartoon, show, were pretending to be police officers. They were pretending to call 911, emergency. He looks at it as he was pretending to, help Nick and Vlad, because their mom was stuck. If not, why would their mom pretend to be stuck? This is all in his mind. This is how he is seeing what's going on. Because to Nick and Vlad, to him, they're just like other people that he meets. Because his friend, who is in real life that he goes to school with, his parents have a YouTube channel with him. So he can see his friend on the same television as Nick and Vlad. His friend acts out and does different things, and they may go to school and on the playground repeat those things. And so that disconnection is still not there. They're not really his friends, But his real friend in real life that he can touch and he can talk with and he can be next to in school and then after school on play dates and stuff like that, that friend is real and he's on the same device. He can watch his videos in real life. So he hasn't made that disconnection between reality and pretend, still. And I know that there are children out there who are not on the spectrum who have done it. I mean, I know for a fact that my nephew, when he was about 4 years of age, actually picked up a landline phone and called 911 and then set the phone down. And they couldn't get a hold of it. No one said anything at all. But he dialed 911 and set the phone next to the receiver next to the phone. I mean, hey, he's not on the spectrum at all. So I know it happens in those children who are on the spectrum and those who are not. But how do you reach someone and have them understand in the situation with my son? Have them understand exactly what is going on and what not to do and what is right and what is wrong in the situation. Because to him, again, going back to the call, he was absolutely ecstatic, according to my wife, that 2 officers had shown up. Nick and Vlad are pretending to be police and helping their mother who is stuck. And now there's real cops at the door. And now he's thinking in his mind in some capacity, that they're gonna help. They're here to help Nick and Vlad, rescue mom. I just wanted to bring this to everyone's attention, and kind of ask you, to everyone out there who may have a child who is on the spectrum, or maybe you're on the spectrum yourself. How do you, reach out to somebody who doesn't understand the difference between reality and make-believe at this point in their lives? I mean, hopefully we've been able to get through to him, and we have been able to express to him that we don't call 911 because of something we see on television. But at the same time, if he saw something happen to his real friend on television, and that was on YouTube, and his friend really got hurt, or somebody was hurting his friend, how do I get him to express that to me? The joys of being a parent. We do everything we can to show them the differences and, the right and the wrong and make believe and reality and everything else. But it's a struggle. None of these, of our children, neurotypical or on the spectrum, or if they have some other, issue, barrier to education, there's no handbook that comes with it. There's no, turn to, page 3, second paragraph that'll tell you step by step on what you need to do. You do the best you can, and you hope for the best, and the outcome in the end, right? Your parents, if you're parent, or someday you may become a parent, there is no booklet, and you try to do the right thing. And yeah, we're going to make mistakes. Even as adults, we make mistakes. We stumble, we fall. But what's important is how many times you get back up, dust yourself off, and keep on moving forward. That's what's important, is remembering how you made mistakes in the past and moving forward, getting back up and moving forward, and not giving up. That's what's important. That and not calling 911 for non-emergencies. Well, I'm going to wrap things up there, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry I did not have a taco podcast last weekend. Again, a lot of things were going on, and life got in the way of producing a taco podcast episode. Now that things are kind of settling out, hopefully, I will be able to get back on normal routines of YouTube shorts, for this channel, along with the Taco Podcast. And we also have other things that are in the works for the Taco Podcast channel that are upcoming very soon. So I want to again thank everyone for being here. If you're new to the channel, please give us a thumbs up. You know, if you're just catching this video for the first time, please consider subscribing. We want to build this channel up, as much as we can, but we at the same time we want to offer the content that you want to watch. If you have a suggestion for a video, please put it in the comment section under this video, and we will look into each and every one of the suggestions. And even if I don't reply to your comments, and I got this as a comment that we never reply, we read every single comment, good or bad. We read them all. We just don't have the time to dedicate right now to sit down. We're working on it though, to sit down and actually reply to each and every comment. But again, everyone, thank you again. And you have a terrific week ahead.